Okay. So you see, always we hear people say that you need to be strong and you need not cry. Especially for men, they say that men don't cry. If you cry, they say that, oh, you are behaving like a girl. But as per science, it's very important to cry, to break down, to be angry, to be frustrated, obviously within limits. I'm not saying you become a crying baby, like my girlfriend said this to me, and oh, and you start crying in front of your friends. That is childish. I'm not saying do that. But maybe you're not crying in public, but privately you can cry. As per the Hindu religion and some other religion also, when somebody dies, after the death, there is a mourning period. There's a grief period for 14 days, 12 days, roughly. This is there for Hinduism, the Muslim culture also, for Christianity also. There's a logic behind that. Because unless and until you, like nowadays, it's opposite. It's like a death happens, and next day you join office, you show you're a very strong person, and you have to move on. You cannot give any excuse. You should not be weak, and you're holding back all your sorrows. But this can go against your health. If you see, as per the this custom that I was talking about, this 12 days, 14 days, this period of grief, they are saying that be sad, cry, go through this grief period, and then slowly, slowly you overcome. I mean to say, you can't avoid the grief, but you need to channelize it and then get out of it. That is going to come to you. You can't block it. If you block it, one day you'll burst. So you have to release your emotions, but you need to channelize the negativity. Always positive thoughts won't be striking you. Negative thoughts will be there. But you have to channelize it, go through it, and then get into the positive pool of thoughts. So I hope you have understood what I'm trying to say. This is a little serious topic. Let's see what you want to say about grief and sorrow, because people don't talk about these things. They only talk about positivity and being strong. Yeah. Shomen though has gone unmute, so I'm going to ask him. Then Ranjana has raised her hand, so I'll ask you next. Yes.
So, sorrow or grief, these are very normal things in our life. So, we become happy, we become sad. So, these are all normal part of our life. And as you said, that crying, that like as we see some funny incident or that, so we express that with laugh, and
With
so
laughter.
that's how it, yeah, with laughter. And that's how, like, if we have some bad incident or something that is very sad incident, so that sometimes that like we feel like we are crying or we should cry. But the thing is that in our society, what you say, what you just said, like you have to there is a like system, or that people think that you always have to be strong and you shouldn't cry like that. But the thing is, like laughter, crying is also a natural habit that people have, because it's not from like not just comes in your life, because it is from your birth, that after birth of a child, the child cries. Not at first he or she doesn't laugh, the baby cries first. So the thing is, crying is a very natural thing, what I believe. And yeah, as you said that you shouldn't cry in front of everyone, or you should become a cry baby. But the thing is, as as I said that laughter helps you to express your expression of a funny incident. That's how crying helps you to express your expression in a of a sad incident. So the thing is, if it makes you comfortable, like you have seen that if something bad happens and if someone cries after that, like the sorrow slowly decreases. So the thing is, if you if it helps you to decrease the sorrow and like helps you to feel better, then you should do this. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can privately do this, or in front of your very close people you
Yeah.
can do this.
If you can't do it
And
in public, you can do it privately. In your own room,
yeah,
you can cry. But it's very important to express that emotion. You can't suppress that feeling.
like
That's
if you have
suffocating.
something in your mind for a long, and which is actually bothering you from inside, and if you share that fact or share that thing with your friend or family, so you feel very relaxed. That is how this is also the thing that the sorrow, the grief, it's inside you, and by crying you can express that, and you can release that much.
Right, right.
So like for feeling better you can definitely do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As he said very correctly, the way you can smile and laugh, it's a very natural thing to cry also. There's nothing so
And
obnoxious about
crying is
it.
not only
Yes.
uh, about grief or sorrow. Like people also cry in happiness, extreme happiness, like
Yeah.
tears of joy comes out. So that's how crying is a very normal thing. Like there's nothing to think about that it is a very much difficult thing, or like why is she or he
Shameful
crying.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, shameful thing. This is nothing like that. So this is very
Yeah,
normal.
exactly. And
But you,
just because,
like you have to be
yes.
smart, like where or when to do it, like
Mm-hmm,
that.
mm-hmm. You
And
have mentioned, and I have also mentioned that privately you can do it because this is also true that nobody, not nobody, but 99% people won't value your tears. So there's no point in terms of gaining sympathy. That's not recommended. But for your own personal well being, you should not suppress this emotion of sorrow. Okay. We don't have any unnatural expectations that people will realize our pain and they will come to save you and all that. That we are not expecting. But the point is, it's a very natural process. For our own healing, we should express it and not suppress it. Okay. And the society may judge you and say that you are weak, but you should not bother because crying doesn't make you weak, it makes you a stronger person. Next, moving to Ranjana.
I feel personally to express their emotion is mandatory and essential for our good health because in psychological there are lots of therapy in psychology. Every therapy has their own method, but every therapy always mentions that you should express your emotion. And there is one therapy is called psychotherapy that is related completely your mind. Like when people are very much stressed, frustrated, and his frustration level is in a severe portion, in severe level. So that person, if that person has something like emotions that he couldn't express, so with the help of therapy, that person can release his emotion. That is which is necessary. In my case,
Yes.
exactly. Because like in psychology, there is always mentioned that you should express and release your emotion, whatever the emotion you have. If you angry, show your anger. If you are in grief, sorrow, so cry loudly. Obviously, uh, personally, you can cry. If you are happy, if you are glad about something, please express that and do something when you are happy and make yourself always happy. So uh, um like expressing emotion is not like that, that you are a vulnerable people. It's not like that. Some people thought that he is so expressive about his emotions. It doesn't mean that that person is vulnerable. It can be that person is very much strong from his mind
Yes.
and confident about himself or herself. But the
Right.
and in my case also, when I have gone through grief, sorrow, I have lost somebody who is very close to me. Yes, I have expressed my sorrow. Yes, it's not in front of the others, but personally. And I have told you that every evening I cried, I was typing the question, I cried. Uh, I know that I am crying. I know I am
Yes.
expressing the grief.
And
It is,
when you told me that you're crying, I said it's very important, very good that you're crying, because Ranjana, you need not to be all time like very strong and I'm not going to cry. It's
exactly,
so important for you to cry. Please cry. I told you that.
exactly, exactly.
And this is
Uh,
long back. Now we are
yes,
discussing this, but this is long back. Yeah.
exactly. And in this case, I can give one example that I have seen one movie that is Dear Zindagi. There is a saying that रोना गुस्सा कुछ भी खुल के एक्सप्रेस करने नहीं दिया तो प्यार कैसे करे. But this is actually, this is not a dialogue. This is absolutely true.
Science. This is the
This
psychiatrist
is
is saying this in the
yeah,
movie.
yes. When Jahangir Khan is counseling Kyra, he was saying that this is actually true. This is a part of psychological therapy. You have to
Hmm.
show your emotion. You have to express your emotion. Otherwise, you can't love anybody. You can't feel anything good. If you don't
Yeah.
show your feelings, you can't feel it. We need to
Yes.
feel it. So
I
obviously,
must
suppose
ask you one thing, that you are a psychology student, right?
no.
Education you have studied, there is a part that is psychology is there.
Yes,
Part of that
yes.
subject.
Yes, and that paper was mental hygiene paper. That was my special paper on psychology.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
for our good mental health, for our
Hmm.
mental hygiene,
Hmm.
this is actually
Hmm.
important and essential.
Yes, yes. I've seen in various situations that when suppose there is a death in the family and the person, like the loved one who has missed someone, is unable to cry, then the doctors say that make him or her cry. Otherwise, it can be injurious for the health. In many movies, also, we have seen this, right?
Yes,
When
yes,
someone dies and the
exactly.
person is unable to cry, doctors are saying first you have to make him or her cry for the
Yes,
lost one.
yes.
So,
And
okay, yes,
even the newborn baby also cry.
yeah,
If the
that he said,
newborn,
that Shomendo
yes,
mentioned, right, right, okay,
yes.
yes. Next, Priya had raised her hand. Yes,
Hello, ma'am.
yes. Speak loud and clear, okay?
Okay. I'm audible?
Yes, better.
Okay. So, my like I also agree with Ranjana and Soumendra. Grief, sorrow, it is also one part of our emotions. Okay, so like I said before, also anxiety, fear, this kind of emotion also very much needed to have. Without that, we became very much reckless and aimless, that kind of thing I said.
Hmm.
So here also I want to say that grief, sorrow, this kind of emotion also very much needed in us, and also we should express this thing loudly or properly, the actually proper way. Otherwise it hurts you actually more, because I feel this thing actually, I am the person, I couldn't express. I couldn't cry actually. I couldn't cry. Actually, couldn't. Like I not feel like. I don't feel like I maybe it's proving as I proving as myself like I am very much weak or like that. It's not. But I couldn't cry. So
Hmm. I understand that.
yeah, but that's that time I feel a very very chronic pain in my chest,
Mm.
That I feel, and it happens. But once I saw that time, sometimes when I cry very few times I cried. That time I feel that I became like little bit easy and little bit I feel little bit good after crying. But so it also affect your mental health, and you gone into depression. You have gone into depression for that reason, because you couldn't cry. So crying, it is very much needed. And like the other emotions. And
Right.
yeah, that's all. And rest of
Yes.
all they said. So I
Yes.
agree with that, and I want to say
Right.
this thing, that it's okay to not to be okay. So it is,
Yes.
I believe this word. So it is very much true, that it is
Mm-hmm.
okay not to be okay. Or like it's okay, you maybe all day you can't spend happily, very fun way.
Obviously. Yes.
Okay, in very good mood. You can be down, you can be high. It is actually our part of parcel in our life actually. So it
True.
is the life actually. So sometimes I feel this thing, that the main most probably the main they have been pressurized for that, like they can't cry. If you
Mm.
in As you said, if they in child from the childhood, in childhood, if you cry your brother or son, that time, why are you crying like girls? So why they
Yeah.
can't cry? It is and
Exactly.
that for that reason they inculcate a thoughts, that they have inculcate or they inculcate one thoughts in them, that if they cry, that proves that they are not man. They that
Yeah.
hurts
Not
their,
man enough. Yes.
yeah, they that thing hurts their manhood actually.
Yeah.
So this is the very bad thing, like this
It's
is not
too
right.
much of
um,
pressure.
Too much of pressure, and they actually the main in India, I think so, and I don't know the outside, but I think so in worldwide this thing actually
Yeah,
plays.
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yes. Worldwide, that this perception is there that men
yeah,
don't cry.
can't cry and don't cry. They usually can't cry.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
it is not. It is some women also can't cry like me. But that not means that I am very much strong. And I seen many people, that I have seen many people, they cry very loudly and all time. But or not all time, but they cried. But they are more like I can say they are the Jhansi Ki Rani.
Hmm.
Okay, and all like this kind of person. So it is okay to not to be okay and cry and all this kind of
Hmm.
stuff. And the one thing I forgetting, I am actually getting forget.
I get a point from your paragraph or whatever you just spoke. Sometimes it happens, I have experienced this, that when you go through a lot of sorrow in life
Mhm.
and a lot of crying already happened and you've seen the worst of life, then sometimes your tears dry and then you are unable to emote. Then you just don't feel like crying. You just can't cry. That happens,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, my sister has she is like all time she can cry, but she when she is sorrow or something, that even that time she feel hungry. Okay, but I am not. When I am
Oh.
when I am crying or I'm not good mood, I couldn't cry and I couldn't feel hungry. And this thing is bad for me. I know this thing, but what can I do? I couldn't feel.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's not coming in my eyes easily actually.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, another thing like ma'am, the some people I saw, they actually crying baby. They
Oh,
all time
yes, that
they are
is not
crying.
the topic. Let's not get into that zone. We should
Yeah,
not be a crying baby, and we
yeah.
do not encourage that you start crying at the drop of a hat. Oh, she did this to me. Oh, I did not get this opportunity. Anything happens, then the person is crying, crying, crying. That's ridiculous. Even when we are saying that you can show your anger, anger is a very dangerous emotion. You
Mhm.
can kill a person when you're angry. You lose your sensibility when you're angry. So of course you have to be in control. We are not saying that get angry and do any nonsense, but yes,
Hmm.
every time you can't control, sometimes you are frustrated and you can vent out your emotion, and that's very healthy, because all the pent up emotions is just going to burden you, and one day you just burst out
Correct.
at the drop of a hat. And so that way. But there's a traffic jam and the person is angry, or I mean, I'm not getting my favorite shoes and I'm angry. That's not right.
People
And
bragging about that, like I am very much angry, like I'm
yeah,
hot
that's
tempered.
no, no. There's nothing to be, excuse me, proud. There's nothing to be proud about that. But yes, the point is nothing in extreme. When we are saying that you go through the grief period, as I said, that whether it is Christianity, Hinduism, they're saying that 14 periods or 14 days, 12 days, 10 days, whatever the duration is. After that, you have to get back to the normal life. You can't hold on to the pain for eternity. So you go through that. You cannot ignore that and go away, walk away. Are you understanding? You suppose you are unable to forgive someone. Sometimes it's important to forgive, so you have to go through that. I mean to say that be angry, but up to a certain limit. I've said this before also in various classes, that when you're like going through a sorrow, cry, be sad, but you have to also overcome. You cannot hold on to that pain, like that example that I told you, that you hold a glass of water which is half full. Okay. Or okay, so you hold that glass of water, and you're holding it for 1 minute, nothing happens. You hold the water for 1 hour, your hand starts paining. Now, if you're holding it for 24 hours, the situation is worse. 48 hours, your hand might be paralyzed. So the weight of the water is same. The grief is same. The sorrow is same. But how long you're holding on to it, that is going to create the pressure. So be sad, but then I told you that you have to channelize and overcome that also. You cannot get stagnant, or you cannot get stuck in that zone for a long time. That's also going to affect your health. Okay. Next,
Right.
Ma- Can I,
who
ma'am?
will say? Yes. Okay. Shalini.
Yeah. So, yes, means emotions is means every human being they have some every emotions, and I think every time everyone have to expose the emotions, but with the right way or with the in the right places. So it means sometimes we are feeling laugh, but at that situation we cannot laugh as
Yes.
as well as if we won't cry for any situation or for anything, but we cannot cry on that situation. And also we cry is like our soft corner or our weak point, so that is also means you have to uh,
Yeah.
means
You
think about
cannot
that.
showcase that to the world.
Yes,
That's true.
showcase that, and also cannot
Privately,
you
better.
have to choose the person. Uh, if you think that that is the right person, or this person is close to your heart, or this person can understand your feelings, on that in front of that person you can show your weak point or you can show your crying, but not for everyone. Otherwise the
Yes.
other people who are
Yes.
not good for you,
Yeah.
so means they can which is called फायदा उठाना means uh,
Take advantage of your
yeah,
situation.
take advantage of your situation or take advantage your weak point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is also we have to maintain this, but
Yes.
emotions we have to expose our emotions also. Means
Yes.
if you are not exposing
Yeah. Expressing
your expressing your emotions, so your health will defect, I think.
will be
If you
damaged.
it will be
Yes.
damaged. So I think
Okay.
if you are feeling to cry, if you are feeling to
Mhm.
happy or angry, you have to express on the same time or
Right.
after some time. But
Yes.
emotions is a good thing.
Yes.
If
Yes.
one
Yes.
person don't have any emotion, so I think he or she is not a normal person.
They are stones then, not
Stones,
humans. Yeah.
their
If
stones
okay.
or something, yeah. They're not normal. We are telling one person is abnormal. That is such reason, na? Means if he or she is more laughing, or he if she is more crying, or he or she is not telling something or not expressing their emotions, they're also the means on the medical version, the doctor are saying the person is not a normal person or
Means
something
you are
like.
saying to be to choose good words, you can say that it's very natural to cry, and not
Yeah,
expressing your emotion is not that natural, it's unnatural. Okay, I get
yeah,
your point. And
I'm
one
not.
more thing I must tell you, that I am not recommending to cry in front of people, by the way. Means of course there are some good people, your loved ones, your close people,
Yes,
but the number of such characters are very few in today's world, because nobody really cares. No one cares about your sorrow or tears, so the
and not
main
waste your
point, yeah,
tear for
no
anyone.
need to waste your tears. Yeah, okay, yes. So the main point is expressing yourself. You can do that privately also. It's not necessary that you have to show it in front of people. And if you're fortunate enough and there are loving people, then definitely it's okay to share and to cry in front of them. But otherwise, private you can express and feel easy and breezy. Okay,
And
Mrs.
actually,
Patra.
I'm very emotional person. Means if I'm watching some movie, sometime I am crying.
Yes, yes.
My that is means things you can cry, but in your at your house or at your
Hmm.
personal room, you can cry.
Hmm. Hmm. Next, Mrs. Patra. Any other point about crying?
If you have gone through a long time in a mental pressure, then in pressure and sorrow, you can't cry. It
Yes.
has happened for me
I
because
told you that it happens. Too much of sorrow, then tears dry out and you just can't cry.
I
It's
can't cry.
right.
Because of when Ranjana's father got admitted in the hospital, and all the time I am talking with the doctor. When I call the doctor, then Ranjana never stays there. He went to the roof, and I and all time he's not his health. He's not positive all time. So, and when Ranjana asked me what have told doctors, I have to told her he's well, but I am suppressing the incident. For that reason, I mm, when he died, I I can't cry. I call Shukurna's father, parents, and also Ranjana also. She can't cry. She told me, please call Shukurna's father Kapu, and he come to the room, another room, and started to watch his examine paper. It- For a long time, we are going in this situation, or we can't cry.
Yes.
No one can know that he has died. This situation has, and sometimes the students in the who are mainly who are doctors,
Medical students?
and medical students. Recently, one girl, uh, final year, uh, has talk has talked with her parents at night, but in the morning, the um, her friend shows that she is hanged.
Oh.
So much mental pressure. For that reason, he has committed suicide. For that reason, the medical
How sad.
medical council has started to মানুষকে ইয়ে
Inter-
করার
Counseling
counseling to counsel um, that
started
medical
counseling the
medical
students, the
too
medical
much.
students. Okay.
One of my relatives' daughter, she is too much shy, too much calm, quiet, never expresses her angry,
Feelings.
never expresses. And she is reading. She was reading in physics honors. It's too much tough. And in the when she is going to the for examine, uh, he
For
he told
examination.
examination. She told I can't. I all is black. I can't remember anything. I'm
Mm,
not go for examination.
yes.
And I have seen a black uh, shadow in her
Under
eye,
her eyes. Under
under
her
her eye.
eyes.
I've seen, but her parents are. If I told them, they will not believe. They they think another things. For that reason, I have not told. And that time, I have watched this. I have thought why that black shades in her eyes. And after that, she has taken to a counselor and counseling, and she has passed. And now she is the student of MSc.
Thank God. My goodness. That's why this mental health is so important, you know, and we need proper guidance to take care of our health overall.
Many,
Very
many
sad.
housewives have too much sorrow. Have
Yes.
too much sorrows. They can't burst for family
Mm,
or something. So they have too much sorrow.
yes, I've seen that. Correct. I would like to ask you here that when Ranjana's father passed away, after the sad demise, few days later on, that time you did cry, right?
Yes, when
Afterwards.
when my brother has,
After. Yes,
but when,
yes.
yeah, nowadays also, if anyone told me that, how are you, then I got cry.
I know that because Ranjana told me Ma can't je.
Uh,
So, you know, the thing is when the situation is so critical, when father is sick, hospitalized, there you have to, you're the only pillar of the family that
yes, yes,
time, and you have no time to sit back and cry. That time crying is a luxury. Are you understanding? So there are situations in our life which is so difficult, then you cannot sit and cry that time. Then crying is a luxury. You have so much time, you're sitting and crying. Where is the time to sit and cry? You are just running this doctor and this clinic and then this bank and papers and documents,
yes,
certificates, life insurance policies, this that, it's all crazy. And you have to take care of the husband as well as the daughter, so that time you have to manage the situation. If you break down, everything breaks down. So there is no opportunity to do that, and that is absolutely correct what you did. Because Eventually we are not saying that be weak, you have to be, I'll just finish this, you have to be a strong person at the end of the day. But once everything was over, then I remember later on you did cry, you did express your emotion, and that is very much important.
And another thing, ma'am, that time also we also affected by corona. We can't go to the
Yes.
bank, but
Yes.
I get help, too much help from my
From your
neighbors. And
neighbors, yes, I know. Yes,
it
okay.
much. And another thing is, after his passing, I am thinking what I have to do. I have to get that send the news to her, to his neighbor,
Colleagues,
colleagues,
family.
families, to his families, relatives. I have to send the news that time, and after that, what I have to do, and
Yes, too much
that
pressure, of course.
much, too
Of
much.
course, handling everything on your own, that time you can't cry. You can't. Okay. So Rohan, something about crying. You say, and then we will wrap up this topic.
It is good to express our emotions. Expressing our emotions bring about a lot of more benefit.
I'm
So
Yes,
when we
Priya.
feel
Do you have a meeting?
sorry, ma'am. I'm actually from 30
Meeting.
I need some.
Okay, yes.
So from 8:30, I have meeting.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Bye.
bye, ma'am.
Okay. Bye bye. Bye. Yes. Yes, Rohan.
so when we fail to express our emotions, so that time our brain, our health also can affect. But sometimes we saw that the men uh, are not share their feeling emotions. They additionally men often to far away from the
Hmm?
vulnerable নাকি একটা আছে না termটা?
Vulnerable. Vulnerable.
Vulnerable
Vulnerable.
vulnerable conversation. Additionally, men often to train to shy away from vulnerable conversation.
Actually, there is this idiotic pressure on the men that they can't cry. And there's a dialogue I suddenly remember that मर्द को कभी दर्द नहीं होता. ये कैसे हो गया? Like, how is it possible कि मर्द को कभी दर्द नहीं होता है? Shomendo? Is it possible that you don't feel pain? Huh, Rohan? That's absolutely nonsense. It's so stupid to means put that
Not
pressure on the head. Anyway,
encouraged to talk about their feelings. Men often
mm,
are not encouraged to talk about their feelings.
yes, they're more reserved. That's fine. But the bottom line is clear. What we are saying is, we are not saying that keep crying, crying, crying. It's very clear that sometimes you need to express your sorrow also. You do not need to always hide your grief and control your grief and just pile up all the negativity and the negative emotions. Negative thoughts can strike your brain. It will, and if you try to ignore and block that, it's going to be more damaging. So let it come, but you have to channelize and get into the positive pool of thoughts. But you cannot ignore grief and sorrow, which is such a very common part of our life. Okay, so that's all. We will wrap up the discussion now.